You know that moment, right? You look at your senior dog, and before your brain even fully registers it, you feel this sudden, undeniable shift in your chest. Maybe they look a little grayer, or they move just a bit slower, and you kind of just push the thought away because, honestly, it's just too hard to think about. But here's the thing. Your dog has actually already started the most important conversation of your entire life together. They're talking to you in the absolute only language they have, which is their behavior. So, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into an expert guide on how to really understand and deeply support your dog's final journey. We'll be breaking down those tiny, quiet signals, and most importantly, talking about the exact actionable changes you can make in your living space right now to give them the ultimate comfort. Let's get right into it.
To kick things off, we really need to anchor ourselves to this one profound thought. The dog who has given you absolutely everything is now asking you to do the hardest thing possible, to see them clearly. See, our very first instinct as dog parents is usually to just scoop them up and pull them right back into the busy, vibrant middle of things the second they start slowing down. We desperately want the old normal. But end-of-life care, it isn't about forcing that old normal at all. It's about paying super close attention to these small, subtle changes and shifting the way we love them. Our goal today is to help you read those signs like a pro so you can stay close and walk them all the way home.
All right, part 1, the quiet changes. Let's look closely at observing that early withdrawal phase. One of the very first things you might notice is actually kind of jarring. You've got this dog who used to be your absolute shadow, following you from room to room, and suddenly they're actively seeking out these weird, quiet corners. Like maybe they're suddenly sleeping on the cool tile underneath the bed, or hiding in a closet they've literally never gone into before. Well, veterinary hospice specialists call this the early withdrawal phase. As their physical energy drops, their nervous system literally starts experiencing the world completely differently. Everyday living room lights suddenly feel blindingly bright. The TV or the dishwasher sounds way too loud. So finding that quiet corner, that's just their body making a completely honest request for rest. Don't pull them back out into the noise. Instead, just go to them. Sit quietly on the floor. Let your physical presence be a calming backdrop while they rest.
You might also see them just totally lose interest in stuff that used to make them go crazy with excitement. The favorite squeaky toy just sits there untouched. The sound of the leash doesn't trigger that happy tippy-tap dance anymore. Animal behaviorists actually have a term for this: anhedonia. Basically, it's a reduced capacity to experience pleasure from familiar rewards. Now here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. This does not mean your dog is suffering, and they definitely aren't sitting there mourning their younger self. Dogs don't really experience human-style existential dread, you know? They are just peacefully settling into a much quieter mode of being. So your job isn't to force them to feel that old joy, but rather to offer a new version of joy that they can actually handle, like a really slow, easy sniff around the yard, or just a quiet cuddle on the rug. Moving right along to part 2, small behavioral signs. Let's pinpoint some of those major physiological markers. It's incredibly important to spot the difference between normal, everyday aging stiffness and the sudden weakness of a body that's winding down. Normal age-related stiffness, like a little arthritis, usually gets better once your dog is up and moving around for a bit. But sudden end-of-life weakness, that is a totally different ballgame. You might start seeing their hind legs physically shaking or trembling when they just try to stand up, or maybe instead of lowering themselves onto their bed with control, they kind of just gently collapse or plop onto their side. The science behind why this happens is fascinating, but yeah, it's definitely heartbreaking. It's known as a loss of proprioception. Put simply, this is the body's fading awareness of where its own limbs actually are in physical space. It's like their internal GPS is losing the signal. This completely explains why a dog who was totally fine navigating the porch stairs last week suddenly can't manage a single step today. Along with this, you'll probably notice a pretty rapid loss of muscle mass, especially in their back end. Their hind legs might suddenly look much thinner, and you might feel their spine a bit more when you pet them.
And then we have to talk about their eyes. Physiologically, sure, a lot of senior dogs get a cloudy, bluish tint in their eyes, stuff like lenticular sclerosis or cataracts. But behavioral researchers highlight something a lot deeper going on. It's called introspective gaze behavior. Basically, their gaze turns inward. They look right past the room, past the immediate environment, staring off into some distance that we can't actually see. That sharp, bright spark softens into this quiet, peaceful distance. It's not a sign of distress at all, it's just peace. So when you catch them doing this, just sit with them, meet their gaze. Believe me, that beautiful oxytocin loop of love is still running strong between the two of you in those quiet moments.
Which brings us to a very practical part 3, changing the living space. This is where we adapt your home for maximum comfort.
So, knowing that their mobility is fading and their nervous system gets easily overwhelmed, we really need to step up and transform the house into a sanctuary tailored exactly to what they need right now. First things first, hard floors. Hardwood or tile floors become absolutely terrifying for a dog when their legs are weak. So, throw down some non-slip rugs, like literally everywhere they walk. It gives them traction and instantly boosts their confidence. Second thing, lighting. Remember how we said their sensory processing is shifting? Utilizing soft, warm light and just keeping the general vibe of the house calm and quiet can do wonders to drop their anxiety levels.
Next up, you've got to make some essential accessibility tweaks around the house. Move their dog bed to a spot they can reach with zero effort, and preferably keep it right near wherever you spend the most time. Also, grab some elevated water bowls. Having to lean all the way down to the floor can be completely exhausting or even painful for a weakening spine. And honestly, the most important adjustment? Carry them. If they need help, just scoop them up, lift them onto their favorite spot on the couch. Your dog spent their entire life giving you their boundless energy and strength. Right now, it is officially your turn to be their strength.
All right, part 4, final emotional connections. Deepening that incredible bond in the final weeks. Let's talk about food, because this is a big one. A dog who has practically inhaled the exact same kibble for 10 years might just suddenly turn their nose up at it. Why? Well, their body is actually redirecting all its remaining energy away from digestion. So here's your game plan. Step 1, ditch the routine. Throw the old rules out the window. Step 2, offer them warm, super soft, highly palatable foods. We're talking boiled chicken, a little plain rice, or hey, even a piece of cheese. And step 3, if they only want to eat from your hand, then you hand feed them. Seriously. Mealtimes aren't really about hitting nutritional macros anymore. They are entirely about comfort and maintaining that deep emotional connection in a shared moment.
You know, almost every owner who goes through this describes these sudden, amazing bursts of unusual affection. Dogs in this final phase will actually direct whatever energy they have left straight toward the person who matters to them the most. It might be this sudden, heavy nuzzle right against your neck, a really long, deliberate lick on your hand, or just resting their heavy head right on your chest with this unmistakable intention. When these moments happen, whatever you do not rush them. Just sit in it. These are deeply intentional gifts. They are the beautiful memories that are going to stay incredibly vivid long after the sharp edges of grief start to soften.
And that actually leads us perfectly to a recognized phenomenon in veterinary literature called terminal lucidity. But as an owner, you're probably just going to know it as the look. It's this incredibly brief window where your dog seems to gather every single ounce of their remaining presence, just to look at you with this quiet, profound knowing. It's not sad at all, and it's definitely not frightened. Some people call it a final thank you, while others feel like it's their dog giving them permission to let them go. If you get to experience this moment, don't look away. Look right back and tell them they were the absolute best dog. They might not know the exact English words, but they absolutely understand the deep quality of love behind them.
And finally, part 5, a beautiful goodbye. Navigating the medical and emotional realities of the end. It's important to know that veterinary palliative care has come a massively long way. You can, and absolutely should, ask your vet for options regarding pain management, appetite support, mobility assistance, and anxiety reduction. Seriously, getting on top of this isn't an overreaction. Seeking professional help to adapt their environment and manage these physical symptoms, that's not spoiling them, it's honoring them. Pick up the phone, call your vet, and explore literally every option on the table to keep them as comfortable as possible.
If you take away anything today, please remember this above all else. Dogs do not fear death. They just don't. What they fear is pain, and they fear being alone. So whether your best friend quietly slips away in their sleep, or you have to make the unimaginably heavy but deeply loving choice to provide gentle medical intervention so they pass without suffering, there is no wrong choice when you're making it out of love. If you take away their pain, and you take away their loneliness just by being right there next to them, then you have guaranteed them the most peaceful, beautiful ending possible.
Look, the grief of losing a dog is uniquely, devastatingly heavy. And that's because they don't just happen to live inside your house. They are completely woven into the very fabric of your daily life. They are the morning walk, the tippy taps at the door when you get home. When they're gone, the silence they leave behind is incredibly loud. But here is the flip side of that grief. Every dog you have ever loved has fundamentally made you more capable of love, more present in the moment, and more attentive to the world. That massive, expanded capacity for love, that is the ultimate lasting gift of your shared life.
So, I'm going to leave you with a final provocative thought to really reflect on today.
What did your pet teach you about true love? Because by paying attention to their quiet changes, actively adjusting your living space for their comfort, and just sitting with them in the stillness at the very end, you are actively returning all of that love in full measure. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep loving those pets, and we will catch you next time.